Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice. We're going to mandate. Get it on. Welcome back to the studio. Jonathan Kite and Jiaoying. Jiaoying. Summers. Always good to have you guys in studio.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, an odyssey. But you guys will appreciate the travel odysseys because you're traveling comedians and you know what it's like out there on the road. And boy, did we have a doozy. Lots of good stories mixed in with lots of incompetence and a general inability to think. I think we're having a problem as a society. We're not thinking anymore. There's no pragmatism. You know, we're all kind of pie in the sky, whatever, micro or macro. The micro stuff could be me and my traveling woes, and the macro could be what the fuck's going on at the border. There's just an inability to think in a kind of linear fashion. So, something to do with you, Jonathan Kite. I was doing some shows in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, tell me what you guys know about this. If you say to someone from Louisville, Kentucky, they'll go, it's not Louisville, it's Louisville. Louisville. But one of the biggest things that come out of that place, besides Muhammad Ali, and they'll tell you every 10 feet. I also want to say this. Cities, states that don't have a lot going on. You make it worse when you really hit on one thing that you guys do over and over again. Like, I'm from Los Angeles. We do tons of shit. Or California. We do tons of shit. So we don't really just pick out one person and go, the home of. You know, every 10 feet, the airport, you got to find out. Fats Domino grew up here. You know, like, you're showing your hand. You're showing you don't got a lot going on. So Kentucky, it's all bourbon. And Muhammad Ali. There's three things they got. They got Muhammad Ali, they got bourbon, and they got the Louisville Slugger. But they don't call it the Louisville Slugger. But they'll yell at you if you call it the town Louisville. So which is it? Is it the Louisville Slugger, or do we live in the town of Louisville? We can't live in Louisville and have the Louisville Slugger. It needs to be the Louisville Slugger, but they don't say that.
Why don't they say that?
I don't know. They just say it's the Louisville Slugger. So we're finishing the late show on Saturday, I think. Maybe it's the early showing for that. Anyways, at some point, some fan pulls out a sketchbook, and he says, I sketched a picture of you on stage at the Improv or somewhere. And I look at it, and I go, oh, well, thanks. That's nice. And then I look at the page next to it, and I go, I think I know that dude. That's Jonathan Kite. And he goes, yeah, I did Jonathan Kite. And I said, oh. And then someone took a picture of it and sent it to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I'm going to see that guy when I get back to L.A. That was just a weird piece of kismety. You were right next to me on this sketchbook.
Yeah. I think I played the same club you did, and that guy was in the audience. And he sketches the comics up there. But I never got the photo. He just had it. Like a police sketch artist.
I appreciate it. It's a little gay. but I appreciate
My nose was a little big.
Oh, anti-Semite.
Listen, and he's probably listening, so if I may talk to him directly. Yeah, that was the way that I would have been described to an SS guard.
Yeah, like a Nazi propaganda poster that gave...
Why was I holding a bag of money?
Yeah, with a giant schnoz and a rat tail.
It was a little ridiculous, and I had a hook nose and a crooked spine. And I was somehow Your eyes were dollar signs. Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I was fighting a pig. I was fighting off a lot of unkosher things but it wasn't a knife. It was a menorah.
You were using a Star of David throwing star, I think, against the pig.
I was stepping on a Christian to fight a pig with a menorah.
Right. Swinging a sack of cash.
Yeah,
with the rat tail.
It was a wanted poster.
Yeah, I saw that. I forgot about all those details that they just brought them up.
Me too. Until this one. What was yours? Was yours because there's a carnival when you go to like like an amusement park. There's like a caricature. What was exaggerated about you?
I was just like signing books and nodding my head and kind of got more enthralled with you than me. Mine seem fair to middling, seem like a decent representation.
Who's this racist Jewish stereotype?
Right. That's what happened. I got drawn away. All right. So travel odysseys. You guys been on the road recently?
Yes. I just left Louisville.
Oh, you just left Louisville?
Yeah, I was there Sunday.
You were there Sunday?
Yes, right after you left, and then I was in Lexington Friday and Saturday, and one of your fans came to my Lexington show because he saw me on your show, and he said, I'm only here because you were on Adam Carolla show.
Wow.
I said, thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
That's not, he said, I also brought my wife. He wanted me to get on my knees and give him a blowjob. He's like, I also brought my wife here. You know that, right?
And
I
a
said,
gardening pad.
I saw her. Yeah, thank you.
How did you get home from Kentucky back to L.A.?
I drove. I went to Zenny's on Wednesday. I drove from Zenny's to Fort Wayne. I left from Fort Wayne to Lexington. Then I drove from Lexington to Louisville. Then I drove from Louisville to Chicago. Then I flew
Wait,
in.
you drove from Louisville to
Because I had a rental car from Chicago and back to Chicago.
How long was that drive from Louisville to...
For people, it's kind of like 5 hours, but for me, it will be 5.5 because I just...
Asian?
my eyes are small and I'm sleepy and it's dark. I just don't want to...
So you made the long drive.
Yes.
And then you were able to fly from Chicago.
Yes, then I can come here in the morning because I am so excited about this show. I want to tell you about the fans talking about that. He came to see yours on Friday. He came to see me on Saturday in Lexington. So sweet.
There's no good flights, by the way, from here to Louisville.
Oh,
No.
buckle up,
Brother.
kids. Buckle up.
The Oregon Trail has nothing on that journey.
The Donner Pass has nothing on that journey.
Better food, though.
On the Donner, yes.
Yeah.
Well, some food versus no food.
No food. People.
So we have our thing. So me and Mike August are traveling, and the edict is always, we're just going to get out on the first flight we can get out on. I don't care how early it is.
Yeah.
I won't remember any of this. I'll pass out on the plane. I'll have a cocktail and just pass out. Who cares, right? So get back to the hotel Saturday night. Go to bed at midnight. Wake up at 5. Meet Mike August in the lobby at 5:30 in the morning. So that's where the Odyssey begins. Okay. Uber over to the airport, the Louisville airport.
There's 2 airports?
There's one in Louisville.
Oh, I thought there's a Louisville airport.
Oh, there's a Louisville and a Louisville. Yeah,
one just sells sluggers.
One sells bats.
The
other sells
it's a
dreams.
sporting goods store. That's it.
The other sells dreams they can't realize. So, got a flight, first class, from Louisville to Chicago. And then we're going to get on a connector from Chicago to LAX. Okay, this is where the drama begins. Sitting at the airport, there's no lounge, there's no anything. We're just sitting at pull up some bar. We got an hour to kill. And we're just sitting there, and there's a security breach. Like, there's an issue. We see cops walking past us in a hurry, quite a bit. And we notice that no one is queuing up to board our plane. We have a 7:05 flight, and we got like an 8:35 in Chicago, but there's an hour time difference, and we got an hour layover in Chicago, and then we're going to head straight to LAX. And we're just sitting there, and nothing's going on, and no one's boarding anything, and cops are running around. And I then say to the waitress at this breakfast bar thing we're hanging out, I go, look, we're going to be here. I'm ordering a beer because I got to take the edge off. And they go, we don't, Sundays, nothing till 10 a.m., which you tell me where you guys are in this argument. This is Kentucky, Bible Belt, whatever. They have archaic, weird drinking laws, which is if you come here on a Saturday, we'll start serving at 6 a.m. And if you come here on a Monday, we'll start serving at 6 a.m. But if you're here on a Sunday, we don't serve till 10 a.m.
Because Jesus in the Bible didn't drink till 10.
Right. And I'm sitting there at 7, and our flight's getting delayed, and there's security running around. And I'm like, I'd like a beer now. And they're like, yeah, we don't do it. But I always say the same thing. I always point at the airplane. And I go, look, I got a first class ticket. I could walk 30 feet away from where we are right now. I could sit on that airplane and I could order a cocktail, no problemo. What is the difference? Why is that international waters? We're just on the ground in Kentucky? Shouldn't the rules just be the same as what's sitting on the ground in the airplane and what's here? But they're not. So we're just sitting there, and we're watching more cops go by, and Mike's starting to notice, but there's no announcements or anything. It's just nobody's getting on an airplane, and there's a situation. So a couple of cops start walking by, and I just go, I'm going to catch up to these guys and figure out what's going on. Now, I figured out through walking from our gate 10 to gate 17, where the Southwest flight is there are a bunch of looky-loos with their nose against the glass looking outside at the plane. Somebody's on that Southwest flight, and they need them off. And I say to the cops, like, what's going on? Where are you going? I go, yeah, Southwest flight, got to get the guy off the plane. Somebody got through security with a gun, hustled onto their Southwest flight, got onto the flight, sat down, and they needed the guy with the gun to get off of the flight. And that's why they locked down the airport. I would argue, here's my argument. We're at gate 10, you guys are gate 17. Why not let us get on the plane and leave? Because if the shit goes down, now we're all just sitting ducks. We're all just standing in the terminal. When the guy comes running out of the plane shooting, and you're returning fire, then there's a big pile of people just standing there while he runs by. You guys return fire. We could be on this plane that's safely in the air.
Yeah, you need to get as many escape pods out.
Yes, out. No. So,
Wait,
Mike,
how did he sneak the gun out of the plane?
I talked to Mike about it, who found out. Oh, Dawson has the article, I guess.
One person was detained after breaching security at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport Sunday at 6:28 a.m. during the TSA security screening process.
I got a 7:05 flight. He gets busted at 6. He goes through at 6:30. So I'm probably standing next to him in security.
He's like, here, hold this for me.
Yeah.
That's when TSA security agents said 60-year-old Michael Van Bree from Greenville, Indiana, was being screened at a security checkpoint when a firearm was detected in his carry-on bag. He then grabbed his 2 bags, including the bag with the firearm still in it, and started walking into the secure area. Airport police were called, and a ground stop was placed on all airlines while the search continued. A review of surveillance footage showed that Van Bree boarded the Southwest flight.
Yeah. So now I have to sit there in a dry county and deal with the stress.
That's when you need to drink the most.
Of this.
Yeah.
I agree. Now we got a connection out of Chicago. Let's not forget, with about an hour layover, but now we're getting into 45, 50 minutes of sitting here, and now the connection in Chicago's not looking good at this point because we've been sitting here for a while. But right about the time the window's going to close on the connection, they let us onto the flight. And we get out of there, and Mike and I are sitting up there like trying to do the math. Of course, our itinerary says Chicago, 8:45 Eastern time, but really what they mean is Central time. Somebody's like, fucked it up. We're going to buy an hour because we're 3 hours here, and it's going to be 2 hours when we get to Chicago, and I think we can make this flight. We land. We hustle off the plane. The good news is the connection flight's just like 4 gates over. It's about 80 feet away. We're in first class, so we hustle off the plane because it's now like an 8:35 flight, and we land at like 8:22 or something. We hustle it over. We get to the gate. Closed. Door closed. Door closed. Now, of course, the jetway's hooked up, and the plane's sitting there. Doors closed. Then some of the worst answers ever, which is, oh my God, look, we're out of breath. Like, here we are. We've made our connection. And they're like, yeah, we closed the door. And we go, when did you close the door? It's 10 minutes before. And when I say 10 minutes, I don't mean 7 minutes. I mean 10 minutes. And then the lady goes, 1 minute ago. Which, by the way, I don't know why people don't lie. You know what I mean? Like, if I was behind the counter, I'd be like, it's been a while. That door's been shut for a while. She just goes, 1 minute. You missed it by 1 minute. When we're like, okay, but we have a connection. There was a big snafu on the other side. We're here. The gate's hooked up. 2 first-class tickets. We have 2 first-class tickets on this flight on American. She goes, yeah, no, that'll be that. And then the second worst answer is at some point, like somebody else from the airline comes around and we go, didn't you guys know we were delayed and there were people who are trying to connect? trying to connect? And they go, yep. And we go, well, you guys will hold the plane you'll communicate with the other plane, and they'll say, we're pulling into the gate now. Well, these guys, Mr. Carolla and Mr. August, will be there in 10 minutes. Like, don't you communicate with them? Can't you hold the plane? And it's not even hold the plane. We're there. They go, yeah, we've done that. We can do that, but like for 5 people, not for 2 people. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's just 2 of us. Not enough to do what you could do, but you're not doing it for 2. If you had 6 people, then maybe you'd do it.
How many points do you guys have?
How about Michael is pregnant with triplets? How about Michael is pregnant with triplets?
Yeah, Michael is pregnant with triplets. So I go, we have 2 first-class tickets. We just walk right onto this plane right now. The gate's hooked up. We're looking at the pilots. Like, nope. I go, okay. So how do we get from Chicago back to LAX? And so Mike says, I'm going to the ticket counter and I'm going to figure out how we can get to LAX now. And I go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something I've never done before. I am going to the American Airline lounge, and I'm going to present my first-class ticket from Chicago to LAX, and I'm going to say, you guys just fucked us royally, and I want to go in there and park my fucking keister and have a drink. And God damn it, they're going to do it. So, of course, the chick at the lounge is like, yeah, no, buzz off. And I'm like, something I've never said in my life. Let me talk to your supervisor. I want to talk to the supervisor. We just got screwed royally. I got a first-class ticket. We're going to be here for a bit. And I want to walk into this goddamn lounge and sit down and have some cube cheese. I'll call the supervisor since he's standing there. Talk. Hey, Helen. Yeah, I got a guy down here. Yeah, could you? I said, I'll wait. Stood there for 15 minutes. Beleaguered middle-aged chick comes down. I go, look, we got fucked. I got a first-class ticket. I just want to go in there and sit down. Can't do it. See, nobody has any power. I mean, no one, first off, there's no empathy. We've lost the humanity. The humanity's gone. It's all rules and regulations. She goes, I can't let you do it. I go, you can't. We just got screwed over. I got a first-class ticket. I just asked him to go in and just sit down. She goes, I can't do it. I go, if you wanted to, would you have the power to let me into this lounge? And she goes, yes. I go, okay, fucking stop giving these answers.
Yeah.
The plane left a minute ago. They locked the door a minute ago. You should have said, oh, it's been a while. Our policy's 20 minutes. You were never going to make this plane. The reality is they sold our seats and did that. The other one then announces, oh, yeah, we'll hold the plane if there's a few of you, but not you. And then she's like, I got the power. Right now, I could just say to you, go ahead, have a seat. But I won't. Even though you have a first-class ticket and you got completely jobbed by American Airlines. And she goes, I go, so you can't do it. I mean, you could do it, but you're not going to do it. And she goes, that's right. I'm not doing it. And I said, what would be the danger in you just letting me walk into this lounge and sit down? And she goes, my least favorite answer in the world, which I've had from many people in my life. If I do it for you, I have to do it for everybody. And I go, no, you don't. You don't have to do it for everyone. You could just do it for me. And she's like, no, I'd have to do it for everyone. Well, first off, everyone who has a first-class ticket who just got jobbed by your airline, just got the door slammed in their face when they knew you were connecting and could have made it. I don't know how many people that's going to amount to be, 4 a year. You know what I mean? Like, who venture into this place without a first-class lounge card or whatever. Like, I don't know what we're talking about, but it's not that many people. But you wouldn't have to say anything. The next person who comes around, you can just go, shove off. This is our policy. You can let me in and not say anything. She goes, yeah, but people could find out. I go, so, okay, how would people find out about this? How would people find out if you just let me go in and sit down? Why would you have to let everyone else in? She goes, social media.
The Adam Carolla show.
Yeah, well, now.
Yeah, they are finding
Now
out. She wouldn't have. She screwed herself.
Yeah, she messed up.
So I just looked at her and I said, I hope you know how crazy you sound right now, because I'm leaving, but it'll still be worth it for me if you just know what you sound like. And she said, yes. Oh, there's also another funny thing. First off, it's all women. By the way, it's women behind the counter, women over here, women at the thing, women at the desk. I'm convinced a dude would just let a dude go, yeah, fucking go have a beer. I don't care. I'll have a beer with you. But there was a funny thing while we were arguing to try to get on the airplane, while the gate was still connected with 10 minutes left. Another employee, a female employee, came around from American Airlines, and she just walked. She just went, "Oh, hey, it's Adam Carolla. I'm a big fan." And I turned to her and I went, "Big fan? Yeah. Work for the airline? Yeah. We have 2 first-class tickets on that plane. Can you get us on?" And she's like, "Not that big a fan. I can't do anything." And I go, "Because we are going to get totally fucked here." And I saw that there's a black chick behind the counter. Wave her off. She went get out. You thought you're a big fan. You're going to get an autograph. You met Carolla on a bad day. This is not big fan day. She just went, go, don't do this. The bad time. So we're now in Chicago. We're trying to find our way back to LA. The dream of the first class ticket that's off the table. We'll be lucky just to get back to LA. There shall be no first class in our future. The first class ticket we had, that's gone. They sold those seats. That plane took off 10 minutes ago. And so Mike comes back from the desk and he goes, I got to read what I wrote down here, but he goes, okay, they got Coach. Awesome. They got, by the way, Coach, when you're 6'2" and wide and fucking tired, is just the worst, because the whole plan is we'll get up at 5 a.m, we'll sleep on the plane. There'll be none of that. So he goes, we got Coach to Tucson. And then
he's like, we got Coach to Louisville.
And then I told him it was Louisville.
No, he goes different airport.
Different airport.
It's in Arizona.
So we got Coach to Tucson, and then a pretty long layover in Tucson.
Man.
And then we can get from Tucson to LAX. And I'm like, how long is the layover? And he's like, an hour. But I don't know if you guys experience this. You look on the tickets, you can't find times anymore. They're not really, they do a boarding time, but they don't. The other times are hard to find. Like, you got to go online, you know. The layover in Tucson turned out to be 5 hours.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
5 hours?
Mm-hmm. So I say, and here's where Mike's brilliance kicks in. I go, okay, when's the flight leaving? He goes, it leaves in about 40 minutes when the gate 8 over there. I go, all right, well, what are you going to do? It's Coach. It's going to be Coach to Tucson. And then at that point, I didn't even know it was 5 hours. I just know it was a long layover in Tucson and then back to LAX. You know, flight arrived at LAX at 6:30 in the evening. So it was, with the time difference, you're basically traveling for 19 hours to get back from the middle of the country. So we're walking over there, like, oh, that sucks. God damn it. And then Mike, just apropos of nothing, he goes, the only direct flights they had was to John Wayne in Orange County, but that's the only direct flight they had. I go, they have a direct flight to John Wayne in Orange County? And he goes, yeah, but we're going to LAX. I go, but Mike, we don't have our car at LAX or anything. We're just scheduled to go to LAX. And he goes, yeah, but you want to drive from, now the cars are here at the shop. He goes, you want to drive from Orange County back to Burbank? You want to go from John Wayne to Burbank? The cars are in Burbank. but Mike, LAX to Burbank's 40 minutes, and then John Wayne to Burbank is an hour. That's 20 minutes. We just be adding 20 minutes onto this odyssey versus 6 hours or 7 hours. You know what I mean? He goes, yeah, but Sunday traffic, getting from Orange to Burbank, the city of Burbank. I go, Mike, can we have? There's a direct flight that gets us into an airport that's 18 miles from the one we want to go to. He goes, yeah. I go, well, fucking go back and get us on that flight. I actually looked it up. You guys can talk amongst yourselves while I'm. Okay, you guys can talk. I don't want to talk the entire.
No, I'll tell you something. So I was overseas. I just got back. That's where I'd been for a month or so, and there was all this fog that was in Amsterdam, and so the plane couldn't take off.
That was pot smoke.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they were like, it's never going to clear, but they hadn't experienced this in such a long time. So the pilot kept coming out and saying, we're delayed. And he said, if there's enough of you on the flight, we will hold it to go to LA. But there wasn't enough of us on the flight. And so when we landed in Amsterdam, we had the responsibility of rebooking ourselves because it wasn't being done. So I get on the phone with KLM as I'm going through security and having my face taken like a Tom Cruise movie and talking to a gate agent. The woman keeps me on the phone for 20 minutes before and acknowledging I'm giving her my ticket time, I'm giving her my purchase number, everything, going through all my information. 20 minutes later, she goes, "Oh, you booked that through Delta? I can't help you." I said, I booked it through Delta. You are a partner of Delta. This is what Google is telling me. The KLM is in the Delta family. And of course, like you said, that there was 4 gates over. We had to run the length of the airport to get to the Delta desk for the Boston. There was a flight to Boston, and then on that flight I had bought first class, and I was like, I'm 6'3", I got to have that. I'm going to cramp up like a folding chair at a garage sale. We had to wait in line, and then the woman, because it was a Delta desk, she was able to help me. Whereas there was this woman next to us who had booked it through KLM, and she goes, "We can't help you. You didn't book it through Delta." It's the same family.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah out at the airport. So I actually
getting sodomized.
I looked it up because I wasted it. Like, I grabbed my phone and said, the John Wayne Airport to Burbank, LAX to Burbank. It tacks on 19 minutes. If you land in John Wayne and go to this shop, it's a grand total of an extra 19 minutes, which, by the way, you would spend at LAX because it's such a big airport and such a clusterfuck, and just getting out of LAX is a bitch. I'm like, Mike, it's a push. Go back and reboot. Mike's like, all right. Mike goes over the gate, and they go, we have 2 seats left on this completely full flight from Chicago to John Wayne. They're not together, of course. I went from first class together to middle seat spread out. So I'm now back of the plane.
You're now working the flight.
Yeah.
You're a flight attendant.
I'm at the back of the plane, in the middle seat, but we get the tickets. And I go, okay, Mike, it's going to suck, but here we are. Middle seat, back of the plane, fucking 737. Like, I forgot how cramped these flights were getting. If you're 6'2", at some point I dropped my sunglasses, and I'm like, I can't retrieve these. I can't get in between my legs and like down to the floor without my elbow hitting the chick next to me in the orbital socket. Like, I go walk to the back of the plane. I see there's one open seat on the entire plane. That's mine on the back. Mike has found his way in the middle seat, somewhere in the middle of the plane. I get to the back, and the one chick has a dog on her lap. I'm like, there is one fucking dog on this airplane. One dog. Completely full flight, and it's the chick next to me. And then the other chick had a mask on. I was like, well, I guess we won't be talking politics. So I get the masked chick and the dog chick, and the dog is on the lap the entire flight, and the dog's feet are pushing me in the thigh the entire time. Like the dog's falling asleep and like stretching out. And it keeps nudging me with its paws, and I'm like, oh God, the fucking humanity. But we made it back to. We only ended up adding about an hour and 15 or 20 minutes to the entire Odyssey, which ended up working out. But I thought we were going to Tucson for 5 hours.
But does it change your opinion now of American Airlines?
You know, it's weird. I was talking to Dr. Drew, whose wife's a travel agent. She does a lot of flying and stuff like that. And he said, American is really bad on the ground and they're good in the air. And I was like, oh, right. I just flew Hawaiian Airlines. They're really bad on the ground and good in the air. And then he was like, and then United is kind of fair to middling all the way across. And he was telling me all the airlines that were bad here, but good there. And yes, American is bad on the ground.
What does bad in the air mean?
It's just shitty. And sir, I'll get you your drink when I get, that just.
I thought you meant the flying.
Flying. Oh.
No, I'm talking about
they have two steering wheels because one of them's a student driver.
They're called yokes, and but all planes have two. So
I know. I
know. I'm just saying, don't do it on stage.
That's all. Listen, all right, cut the bit, guys. Just cut that bit from my act completely. My closer.
Bad service in the air. Now on the ground,
who's the best on the ground?
I don't know enough. Like Drew said. Let's see. He said Delta was good on the ground.
Delta, I will tell you, in the flight that I just had where I had all those complications, I publicly have never said anything positive. I mean, I should on Southwest all the time, as we know this. Come see me. I'll be at Magooby's this weekend. But I think Delta is incredible on the ground. I've had such good experience, and their customer service is incredible.
Well, what we got is you missed your flight. Tough shit. And you missed by a minute, and if there were more of you, we would have held it. Well, that's what we got on the ground, and then the lounge was just fuck off. Now, at any point, one of them could have said, sorry, if it was up to me, I would have held it, but I'm doing what I'm told. But, if you call your something, maybe you can get a refund or some mileage, or I'll give you a coupon for something. It was more than one woman just going, fuck right off. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't add a little, it must be frustrating. I get it, but sorry.
I think they enjoy it so much to have the tiny little teeny power to abuse you. They just, because last time they laid is, they never got laid. I feel like they just, they're dry pussy.
There's an element of, I think there's a female and possibly racial component to it, which is like, hey, middle-aged whitey?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, I feel like
how's it feel now?
They're female bouncers at a club.
Yeah.
Yes,
because males do that all the time at nightclubs where they have that little bit of power that they hold over you.
Right. So now, because it's not like
it's a Sky Club.
None of them just went like, this is tough, but I'm sure you can rebook. Like, they're just like, fuck off, doors closed.
But also, if you can see the plane, that's the worst. Yeah, because that's happened to me too. Yeah,
right there.
I think Jiaoying is onto something. I think there is a correlation between getting laid and getting delayed.
It's for sure. They just...
Come on, everyone. Appreciate the joke.
That's cute. I just feel like those ladies, they are mean to me too. They look at me, they're just like, go back to China, bitch. And they just...
same thing said to me.
Same.
Yeah,
they close
go
the
back
door.
to China, Kite.
I was like, whoa.
Have you noticed there is an awful lot of conversation directed at us, the travelers, about how we are supposed to be very nice to the airline people?
Yes.
Because they're under a lot of stress.
Right.
We hear that all the time. When are they going to be sat down and said, listen, you're going to have to be very nice to these passengers.
Yes.
They're under a lot of stress. It's backwards.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to be a bitch. That's a good job.
I mean, we just stood there, stared at the gate, connected to the flight, stared at our first class tickets, looking at the pilot. I got it in my phone, by the way. If someone will go get my phone, I popped a picture or two. All right. We got made up movie to get into. And we'll take a quick break. Come right back after this. Well, let me tell you about Stamps.com. Holiday rush. It's coming up. More mailing, more shipping for your business, but it doesn't have to mean more stress. Stamps.com, helping over 1 million businesses like yours save time and money for 25 years. I've used Stamps.com for 12 years plus here. We send out merch, we send out books, we send out paperwork, everything we send right through Stamps.com. And it's your own personal post office, wherever you are. Plus, premium discounts and supplies with Stamps.com. All you need is a computer and a printer, and you are done. And you can get your business ready for the holiday rush with Stamps.com. Use promo code ADAM for a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. These things, we have one. I think they go up to 60 pounds, maybe even 80 pounds. No commitments or contracts. So get started, see how much you love it, and sign up. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone, top of the homepage, and enter the code ADAM. Let me tell you about Kion Aminos. Love these guys. Tired of gaining the weight back after all the effort to lose it? Couple of football Sundays can undo a lot of keto and rowing for the ace man. Boy, do I know it. I take Kion Aminos every day. It's part of my routine to not lose the ground I gain with the carbs and the working out. You suffer, and then you take a step backward and pow, all your hard work for naught. Backed by 20 years plus of clinical research, tastes amazing with all the natural flavors, non-GMO, sugar-free. They're a great sponsor, and I'm a huge fan, and I do it every day. So make all the workouts worth it. Save 20% off on monthly deliveries and 10% off on one-time purchases at and I'll spell it, getkion.com/Adam. That is GetKion.com/Adam for my fundamental supplement for fitness, Kion Aminos.
Jiaoying Summers is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Along with Jonathan Kite, and they got dates. I should plug the dates here. Jiaoying is going to be at the Hollywood Improv, October 19th, and is heading to New York and going to New York at the Apollo Theater as well. And for tickets, I'll spell it out, JIAOYING Summers.com is where you go. And, of course, Jonathan Kite, he's going to be Magooby's Joke House, and he's all over the place, too. And you can just go to JonathanKite.com as well. All right, what else do you guys got? We're waiting for some made-up movie calls.
JonathanKiteComedy.com.
Oh, did I not say
that?
comedy?
That's all
JonathanKiteComedy.com. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, bud. Yeah, I'll be at Magooby's this Friday and Saturday night.
All right, what else do you guys want to get into? I'm looking for these pictures I took, and I don't know why. I have to torture myself, but I'll just do it.
Did you stay in the Aloft Hotel downtown in Louisville?
I stayed at a new hipster hotel.
Stay in the fancy hotel.
The only thing I need at the fancy hotel, I don't like hipster hotels because they're like long on hip and short on square footage. The rooms get teeny, but they're cool. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want the pedestal sink in the bathroom because I want to take the fucking toiletry kit and spread it out, but there's no place. I'm setting on top of the toilet lid because you don't have. There's got to be a rule: no pedestal sinks in a hotel of any kind.
I hate.
You got a toiletry bag. You got to spread it out. Yeah. It's the floor or the toilet, and the shit falls into the toilets on top of the tank.
It's all like third-class steerage in the Titanic.
Right.
They have Bibles in the hotel in Louisville. I took them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I like to take free things.
When I go to Louisville, I replace them with the Torah.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Or the Quran.
They also have a Mormon version of the Bible.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, they
want to
do?
make sure, you have options.
In Louisville?
Yeah, in Louisville. They have 2 Bibles. I took one. I didn't take the Mormon one.
They should have like a vending machine
where
you can choose your own Bible for the room for the weekend.
I think so. I like free Bibles. I think it's good.
You should sign Bibles. That should be your merch.
I actually do. I sell as Jesus. I signed Jesus when I was in Kentucky. I sold on AliExpress. People thought the Lord signed it. They would buy it because it's from America. It's good.
I don't know if you guys are coffee people, but Louisville's not a coffee town.
They have shitty coffee.
And not only that, I'm right in the middle. Like when you're in New York or LA, you walk out of the hotel room, you turn left or right, you're going to find a Starbucks within 40 feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I walked a mile before finding some like off-brand coffee place. Like they're bourbon people. They're not
that's right.
coffee
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
All the restaurants, bourbon on rye, bourbon in the corner, bourbon at the corner. All the restaurants are bourbon something.
Yeah, bourbon something.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I'm only there. Have you been to the Kentucky Derby before?
No, I don't think I ever
I
have.
went there once.
Yeah.
You did?
Yes, I was in college there. I was very drunk. I don't remember. I vomited all over my friend's car.
Oh, that's worth talking about.
Yes, I don't remember. I know I was
Inside of the
crazy.
car, right?
Inside the car, yeah.
Outside the car means you're even drunker.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can vomit on the hood.
Yeah.
You're driving like you're
fucked up.
like a deer on the roof rack.
Right.
Just leave her out there. Let her clean herself out.
You've been to...
I've been a few
You've
times.
both been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hear about it.
So when I went to the Kentucky Derby, the craziest thing about it is it's really like the Hunger Games because there's the infield where it's sort of like it's just a free for all, where it looks like a Coachella or it's a sort of a Woodstock. And then as it goes up for tiers, like how good you are, how sponsored you are, like the Hunger Games, go up to the stadium. And the higher you are, I guess the richer that the people are. And everybody, when I was there, there wasn't anything to drink except bourbon and water.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like, or every drink that you ordered, it also had bourbon.
Yes.
So I feel like we had coffee up there, but I feel like it was full of bourbon. So I feel like that's what you could get if you go to Starbucks. But you got to be a drinker. I can't imagine there's any AA meetings happening in Louisville.
What were you doing at all those Kentucky Derbies?
I went as a guest. Like when Two Broke Girls was on, they would have people out there. So I was in, I did the parade and, it's a whole, I had an amazing time. It was actually one of my favorite things I ever did when I was on the show. I went like 3 out of 6 years or something. And it was cool because I got to wear the craziest, outfit. Everybody looks like their own homecoming float. It's just like you're in like the most, the craziest, loudest outfits. But yeah, I had a blast. And like you, I didn't puke on the inside of a car, but got close to it. Because all we would do was get shit-faced.
Bourbon hangover is the worst.
Oh, yeah, that sugar?
Well, tell us about booting in the car.
I remember people opened the window. I threw up. I think it was I was 21. I just started drinking, and I drink so much, and I was vomiting all over the place. Yeah, they stopped talking to me. Those people, they stopped talking to me. The drunk girl who don't speak English. I'm sober now.
You are?
4 months sober.
4 months?
Yeah, it's been 4 months.
Well, the Asians have an enzyme, many of them, that don't take the liquor very well.
I do. I'm an alcoholic. My dad is too. My uncle is also. But my mom can't take it. She can't even drink one glass. She'll get red face. But I can just keep drinking.
So you were able to push through?
Yeah, I'll drink. If this is alcohol, this is tequila, I can have everything. And then I can still talk.
You can have 10 ounces of tequila.
Yeah.
And you're good.
I can drive home. I drove everybody home in college. That's why you are alcoholic, because you can drink so much. Then you crash later.
Right. You become a heavyweight.
Yes. So I'm a heavyweight, and my body is not very big, and I drink too much.
How much could you drink, like with all 120
Can
pounds?
I just be honest about a normal day when I'm drinking? Let's say, like 6 months ago, I'll wake up, have coffee around 10 a.m. I'll have a mimosa, and then I open the champagne bottle. I think it's open. You can't spill the champagne. I'm Chinese. I'm cheap.
Yeah.
So we're going to drink it when I'm working in the afternoon. So I finish it around 3 p.m. Then in the afternoon, my friends come over for a meeting. I'll just have some glass of wine, red wine. So before I go to the shows, I ate. We have to finish the bottle of wine. Meaning I finish it. They drink 1 or 2 glasses. I'll have the rest. And then I go to the club. I would have 2 glasses of IPA because you're already drinking. But the beauty is that when I'm drinking, I don't eat, because when you are drunk whore, just be skinny so people forgive you. You can't be drunk and fat. That's not going to work.
Right.
So I'll have 2 glasses of IPA first show, and then I'll have another 2 glasses second show. Then after that, you have few shots with people, and then I drive home. Then I go home. You are so high after stage. Then I have another half bottle of wine. I go to sleep, and I wake up. My son got me up at 7. I have to take him to school, so I feel like hell. My headache. I'm throwing up.
Yeah.
That's bad.
I get it. But I'll tell you, no drinks, and I still wake up and feel like shit.
I'm still feeling like shit. 4 months. I think it took 2 years for me to be sober, I guess.
No drinks. I wake up, I look like shit. People are like, how much did you have to drink last night? I'm like, I haven't had a drink in a week.
But you guys have good skin, so what do you do?
I'm telling you, my eyes, I always say my face looks like a NyQuil commercial that's halfway through. I look like, you look amazing. I've been around, we've done a lot of shows together. We're good friends.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I've seen you pretty drunk, and I'm like, you still look great. Whereas I've been sober for the week, and I look like I just got off of the Kentucky Derby, racing in the Kentucky Derby.
Well, I have a theory. It's a kind of half joke, but I never really do it or worked it out or anything. But I've always said that if you're a person who drinks a lot and drives a lot, you should get a designation on your driver's license as a heavyweight. And people always go, well, what the fuck? And I go, well, look, me at .08 versus my mom at .08, I can be a .08 and do an hour show. You won't know it.
Yeah.
My mom, she gets when she was at .08, lampshade on the head, screaming about the Jews, right? Like, not everyone's .08 is the same .08. And people would say, yeah, but what does that mean? Well, I would say, look, it's basically like this. If you were to take your team and your team was going to start in the Super Bowl, would you rather have at quarterback sober me or Aaron Rodgers with 3 beers in him?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if your answer is Aaron Rodgers, then he can perform with 3 beers because he's good a lot more. I race cars, so I'm like, I know how to drive. My mom's a shitty driver, so just that differential alone. But
it should be a part of the driving test.
Should be part.
I think so.
You take it sober, and then you have the drunk driving test.
See how many cones you knock
That's
over.
how you.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you get your lessons. If you can drive drunk.
Heavyweight designation. I did a bit on a car show once where I went out, and I don't know where I was, Orange County somewhere in a parking lot with the CHP, and I said, let's just see how many shots I can do before I blow over .08. Then we'll time me through the obstacle course versus a sober soccer mom who's a shitty driver.
Who's yelling at kids in the back, not paying attention to the road anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
The producers fucked up the bit. Anyway, but I got through the obstacle course faster over the legal limit. So kids, if you're listening, there's an important message here.
Drink and drive if you can.
That's what I'm saying. All right. We have line 1 with a made-up movie. Now, I think, let's just say we're pitching this to the Chinese market. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jason, Chico, 49.
Hey, Adam.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. You ready for my movie title?
Mm-hmm.
It is Cocaine Gerbil.
Okay. I got thoughts. All right. Let's see. Mexican drug cartel, right? And all the cocaine, the feds and the border guards are onto the cocaine being shipped over in, fake pregnancy sacks on women and welded inside of fuel tanks and trucks, and they're getting busted left and right. The new way they're going to try to get cocaine in the United States is by stuffing gerbils with cocaine and putting it up the ass of gay guys who have a vast experience with gerbils up their ass.
Of Richard Gere.
Well, we'll get sued if we bring up Richard's
I'm just trying to get him work at him.
Yeah, I'm saying he's a little long in the tooth for that. But they go scouring for gay guys who do the gerbil, who do the Richard Gere gerbil move, and because they know they have the capacity. Mm-hmm. They know they can do this. Now, I'm not sure. I don't know. Is Tom Hanks in this movie, Jonathan Kite?
Well, I've been looking to do a drama.
Okay, this is
no pun intended, right up my alley. Oh, we have fun here.
Could we talk about Chet Hanks for a minute?
I haven't spoken to him in a long time.
Since he did the Jamaican accent?
Yeah. What he said, he called me and left a voicemail. I think I have it here. Mm-hmm. Me like a red stripe beer.
That was Chet Hanks.
That was Chet Hanks.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Let's see. So maybe Tom Hanks is a DEA agent, and maybe his younger protege is Seth Rogen, and maybe there's a little comedy may ensue with the two of these guys.
What I do is we're gonna find the gerbils. We're gonna smoke them out. We're looking for fat little bags of fur, and I will check every butthole.
And maybe we have Liam Neeson as their supervising commander who's had enough of their hijinks at the border.
Listen, I've had enough of your hijinks at the border. You're telling me a crazy story where people are shoving actual gerbils up their butts full of cocaine. You better find this, or you better give me both your badges.
Jason, is this starting to come together for you?
Yeah, I mean, that writer's strike was a moot point.
With this kind of impromptu writing. Now, I don't know how we sell this to the Chinese people because I don't think they're big fans of the gays or gerbils.
Also, not like cocaine in China. Drug is so illegal. If anybody's caught with cocaine, it's a life sentence or death.
Right.
So I've never seen any people on drugs in China in person. I've never seen them. They are either died, they just or disappeared, or even like marijuana is such a big problem. Like Jackie Chan's son, he was caught with marijuana and he was in jail for like 6 months.
Really?
Yes,
and caught for marijuana.
Yes, just the weed. And that's crazy. My mom now, she's hooked. I got her addicted to weed so I can control her. It's such an easy way to control her now. She can't sleep. I give her edible. She can't live without edible. So now she's abusing me. I'll be like, can't get your drugs. Now she's like, oh, okay, you look pretty. And then she vomit and then she got her drugs.
So you're like the candy woman now.
Yes.
And you'll cut her off from your stash.
Yeah. So now I can control her now. Finally.
Does she know how to go out and buy her own gummies?
No, I told her it's not legal. She said, well, I feel so dangerous, but it really helps me sleep. I said, yeah, that's very good. It's very good. So I think she is really, really listening to me now. It really works.
No,
edible works so well for sleep.
It on some people, not everyone.
I can't do drugs. I'm sleepy. Doesn't matter what I take. Like a weed, I just sleep.
So what will work on you?
Yeah, what kind of weed I can take and don't feel sleepy?
Cocaine.
Cocaine weed.
I don't think I can do cocaine. I think I'm just gonna smoke everything. I never tried cocaine. And was in Kentucky. I saw my Kentucky friend who used to do coke. They are still doing coke. They're just like touching, like zombies, but nobody tell them anything.
They're still doing coke?
Yeah. For like 10 years. I never tried it, but they just been doing the same amount, and now they're just like zombies, just like this. Nobody's saying anything. I just feel like it's weird if somebody's touching. If it's my mom, I'm like, Mom, you look like a zombie. Do something. But nobody's saying anything.
My experience with coke is I once had a friend who worked on Miami Vice back in the 80s, and he came home with cocaine, like Miami cocaine, and we tried it at a party, and I was like, oh, this is why people love cocaine. Like, you get why people love cocaine, because you've never felt better in your life.
It doesn't need any pitch.
No.
It's just try this.
Try this and you'll feel better than you've ever fucking felt in your life.
Like as a communist person, I just feel like if you are not Michael Jackson, you don't deserve to feel like Michael Jackson. If you feel high and you're king of the world, but you are laying on your mom's couch in the basement, you should just don't do that, because it's not. You should feel like a loser. You should feel disgusting. You shouldn't feel good if you are a loser.
I know, except for then you do the cocaine and you do feel good.
That's what it should be. Feel like a winner. Cocaine.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the slogan.
You feel like a winner.
And it's half the price it was back in the day. I'm again, kids, if you're listening.
This is part of the driving test.
Yes.
Yeah.
This driving test is getting incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Well, you do a bump before you get in the car, and that'll clear the cobwebs.
I thought you meant a road bump.
A bump before you get in the car, and then avoid the speed bumps.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason from Chico.
Yeah.
How is it over there in Chico, California?
You know, it's lovely here, actually. We've done a lot to sort of clean up the streets of our town recently, and it's really, things have turned around here. It's a pretty nice place, actually.
How'd you turn it around?
Well, they built a pallet shelter so that legally they could get people off the streets by having like an alternative place for them to go. And essentially what happened is, we told these people, hey, you got to get out of here, and here's an option. And they decided, well, I don't want to go sit in this pallet shelter in 108-degree weather, so everybody kind of left. So it's pretty nice now. I'm not going to complain.
It's amazing how rules can fix things.
Don't move here.
I just got back from Denver. I was in Denver before I was in Kentucky, and there's homeless all over Denver. Like, there are tents. It's sort of a miniature LA, but they have turned into a shit show too over there. It's
not a mountain. That's just a pile of homeless people.
Just a pile of homeless people. Try skiing on it. Hey, John Denver would never stop throwing up if he walked through Denver, singing about Rocky Mountains and being a country boy and everything, and just seeing piles of humanity flopped out, hooked on fentanyl, right in a town he's named after.
It is not John Denver's Denver anymore.
No, it is not. Although his real last name is like Winklevoss or something. Yeah.
Winklevoss?
He has like a German, his real last name is like Schneidervox or something.
Oh.
He has a
John Hitler.
He has a real German
last
last
had to change
name.
that after the war.
Yeah, what is John Denver's real? He has a German
concentration camp?
It's like Schnitzelburger or something. He has like a
Schnitzelburger sounds delicious.
He has. I fucking eat the shit out of a Schnitzelburger.
Yeah.
He has a last name that is a
Dushendorf.
Douche?
Oof.
Dushendorf.
I told you it was real fucking German, right?
But Henry John Dushendorf Junior. There was two of them.
Yes.
Right. Jesus Christ. All right, we'll take ourselves a break. We'll come back. We'll hit the news right after this. Microdose. Well, you probably heard about microdosing. All sorts of people are microdosing on a daily basis to feel healthier and perform better. Our show today is sponsored by Microdose Gummies. Microdose Gummies deliver the perfect entry-level doses of THC to help you feel just the right amount of good. Yeah, these things are good. You don't go off into some sort of never land. Just tweak you enough to get through the super hectic, stressful day. Microdose is available nationwide. And learn more about microdosing THC. Go to microdose.com and use the code ADAM to get free shipping plus 30. That's right, 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description. But again, that's microdose.com, code ADAM, and get that 30% off. Let me tell you about Angie Homeowners. It's a lot of work to own a home. Whether it's everyday maintenance, repairs, or dream projects, it can be hard to even know where to start. All you need is Angie. Your home for everything home. Find a skilled local pro who will deliver quality and experience. Over 20 years of home service experience. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie handles the rest. Look, you're busy. You don't have time to do all this stuff. Let Angie handle it. Take care of just about any home project in just a few taps. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit online. Visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. ANGI.com. That's Angie. Let them do all the heavy lifting. One quick addendum to my flight mishaps. It wasn't all fucking roses for the two chicks sitting next to me, one with the dog, the other with the mask, thankfully, because I don't know if you guys can identify with this, but I went out on stage. I did 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. I had this black long sleeve, like rayon sport hoodie or something. I noticed myself in the early show on Friday night going, fuck, it's hot up here. It was hot in that club and the lights in your face. And I was like, I was sweating hard in that rayon shirt. Did the second show, sweat pretty hard. Then, of course, got ready to do Saturday night, and the fucking rayon black shirt was just outside of the suitcase. And also, if you're going to sweat up on stage and you think you're wearing pastels, you're going to pit out hard. Like you think you're wearing like a maroon shirt, you will fucking pit. And I was like, it's hot on that stage. I'm sweating. I'm just going to wear the black pullover again because you can sweat as much as you want the black long sleeve pullover. So now I do 2 shows, sweat through the fucking thing again. Get up at 5 a.m. Of course, everything else is in the suitcase and that's thrown on the chair. And I get up at 5 and I like look at it and I go, oh, this thing's pretty rank. And then I smell the pit. I'm like, oh, it's bad. It's bad. But then I'm like, first class, sitting next to Mike August the whole time. Like, who gives a shit?
Who cares about Mike?
I actually applied some deodorant on the outside, trying to clean it up a little bit. But
the whole skin.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, man, it is a little funky. Now I'm in the back of the plane, mashed between 2 women, and I can't open my arms without whacking one of them. Like my hand, I did a thing where I was like, I can touch the window on the outside of the plane and block the aisle if I put my hands out. And these 2 poor bitches just had Carolla's pit in them for 4 hours and 20 minutes.
That's why she had the mask on. She wasn't political.
And the dog, But
he kept
anyway,
reaching for the light up there. And it was
I really couldn't put my hand up or down. So like trying to keep them. Like when at some point the waitress, 2 hours in, hands me a Bud Light. I'm like, just set it on my lap. I don't want to have to reach across and do the pit in this poor chick's face.
She hands you Febreze.
That's right. I mean, it was.
She's like,
listen, just so you don't think that's real. I've been with Jimmy on a flight. He's been shot with Wizard or Air Fresh. They shot him with
Insulting.
it. He'd farted the back of the plane up enough.
Oh, from farting.
From farting.
Yeah.
They're like, are you wearing a Buffalo Bill skin suit? Who makes that? Silence of the Lambs
He
brand?
farted up the plane enough that they went out and they go to back. They got it back there. They sprayed it at him like they're pepper spraying him.
Yeah.
With anger.
Yeah.
I've told Jimmy a million times. I've been on a bus with him, a shuttle bus, where he got, Febrezed. He got Airwick. He got, whatever the product is these days. He got Air Fresh. He got the shit sprayed at him on a bus, on a shuttle bus, and on a Southwest flight. So I said, bro, you got to hit a train. If you can complete the trifecta, like if you can fart up, there's a commuter train that goes to San Diego. If you can fart that up enough and get hit, you've hit for the cycle. You may die now. You've done a plane, you've done a bus, and you've done a train. If you can just get the train, but now he's too recognizable.
Yeah, they won't do it.
Yeah, they would just
put up with it.
Yeah, they put up with it.
Take a jar and get his fart and sell it on eBay.
Sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Like that chick.
The unholy trinity.
Yeah, the window's closed. I told him to do it, strike while the iron is hot. Like, we got to get on a train, but he never did.
Back in the day, you used to have this suit that you would sweat in, and it was infused with mint, and it was lovely. Do you remember that?
No, but yes, I do.
No,
but yes. They make Sparco, which is a company, a racing company that makes racing apparel, seats, steering wheels, shit like that. When you race, you have fireproof long johns that you wear underneath your fire suit, and the long johns are long sleeve turtleneck. It's a long john that they sell for fire protection. And of course, when you get out of the race car and you take the fire suit off, you sweat all the way through your thing, and you're completely sopped. you'll never sweat more than being strapped into a 6-way harness and doing an automotive race, especially when you're wearing the gloves and the hood and the long johns and the helmet and the suit and everything. But then you get out of your like Friday 10 a.m. practice session and you got to get back in the car at 1, but your shit is completely and utterly drenched and you're at the track. There's no coin op laundry or anything. You have to just hang it outside and air dry it. And they infuse it with mint. So it actually smells, when it dries, it's a turtleneck sweater and long johns that have completely been soaked through with your own sweat. But then when it dries, it smells like mint. Smart, right?
That's what you need.
Every, maybe especially the Armenian community, needs this service.
Get in with Wrigley's gum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Sponsored by.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or put an air
Wrigley's needs to
freshener
get
on the balls.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is it starts off this way and then some fuck gets into it. Well, what about cookie dough? And it's like, oh, fucking A. You guys have to ruin everything.
Bubble
Just
gum.
leave it at mint. No, cake batter. Like, no.
Or vanilla when they spray that in the bathrooms. And I'm like, now it just smells like vanilla shit in here.
Yes.
Right.
Ruined it.
Yeah. It's-
Right.
It should be mint fresh. It's just like
Everything
fresh.
should be mint. And
Yeah.
by the way, every toothpaste should just be mint. It shouldn't be bubblegum flavored or whatever. That's a shit weird mixed message to send to kids, But bubblegum, you'll ruin your teeth. Oh, here's a paste for your teeth. It tastes the same. All right, anyway. Yes, it smells like mint. You're right.
All right, so I know you had that Odyssey yesterday. You got Mike Augusted. He's very happy, by the way, that you got to see firsthand what he goes through on a lot of our trips. But did you catch any football?
We watched a little college in the green room from the club. Mike always finds his way to the college ball,
Oh,
as
he
you
does.
know.
Well, he has some money going.
The pro thing, we were traveling for 16
All day
hours.
Sunday,
Like it literally was missing it.
Well, the Chiefs played the Bears yesterday, and I don't think anybody even remembers what happened during the game because all eyes was in the box. Taylor Swift was there
Whoa!
in all of her in Chiefs gear, sitting next to Travis Kelce's mom.
Oh my God!
mucking it
So
up.
it's on.
So it's on. So this has been rumored for a while, right? So some background: Travis and his brother Jason have a podcast, and he mentions that he has a crush on Taylor. He actually went out to when she played Arrowhead, but didn't get a chance to meet her. Really wanted to meet her. So he said publicly, I invited her to a game. Come to Arrowhead, see what I can do out there and see what my crowd's like. And there's all these rumors going around like, oh, they're talking, there's something going on, but there's never been anything confirmed until yesterday. In the box is Taylor Swift in all the Chiefs gear, cheering as Travis Kelce makes a touchdown as they destroy the Bears 41-10.
And not known as a Chiefs fan.
Correct. Yeah.
How long in a relationship like that before you bang? What are we talking about here? Like, is it a first date type situation where you go, look, let's just be realistic. You've dated a ton of dudes. Like, I've dated a ton of chicks. This shit's going to be over in 8 months. Like, we could just enjoy our food, make out a little, and then come back and do the sort of compulsory part of this thing where just so you can say we didn't fuck until the third date or whatever. But we both know why we're here. I'm not a fan of your music. You hate football. We just saw each other and we're sexually attracted. I'm a great looking person. You're a great looking person. We're here for one reason.
Yeah.
This isn't a kind of thing where like, well, we were both young students at UCLA and your mother and I fell in love in chemistry lab or anything. I just saw you on TV. You saw me on TV and we want to fuck each other. That's why we're here.
Yeah, first night for sure.
Yeah, that's basically what Tinder is, Adam. You've described what every guy who gets.
I was going to say this is Tinder in life.
Yeah, first night.
They matched on TV. They both swiped right on their TVs.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I was thinking. No joke.
Why
when
were
I
we
saw her
mincing
up there,
words?
I was going. I bet they banged that night.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Especially because they won.
Did they win? And so obviously nobody's saying anything, right? They didn't confirm anything. They were seen leaving together. So yeah, someone caught them leaving. There's Travis in a weird white and blue outfit there, and they're both addressing the cameras as they leave. They drive away in a convertible.
Yeah. And a convert. Oh, and his.
He's
Nice car.
Look at that.
That's
just
like
open air. They're making a statement, right?
And his suit is done up like the Partridge Family bus. I mean, he's not trying to fly under the radar.
Yeah,
No, he
Jackson
looks like
Pollock.
a cloud in the video game Roblox.
Yeah, I would say, I'd say like let's get an SUV with the smoked windows, and we'll just slide in the back.
Or a tour bus.
Yeah,
Let's get on your tour bus.
Well, here's the thing, and you know this from watching TMZ, Adam. If you're hanging with Taylor Swift, if you're just leaving a restaurant with her, for instance, that makes news. Like Sophie Turner, she just divorced with Joe Jonas. It's very public, but now she has the upper hand in this lawsuit because she was seen leaving with Taylor. So that's like a power move now, right? So everyone knows eyes on Taylor. Like Taylor, she put on Instagram like, "Hey, we all need to sign up and vote. Will you go to vote.org and sign up?" And she puts that on Instagram. They got 35,000 more immediately.
Yeah.
That's the kind of influence she has. She is the most famous person on earth, right?
I wonder if she'll do a cameo for me to promote my Magooby shows.
Well, look, can we dispense with the part of our society where we're holding women back? This misogynistic, male-driven, whatever. The most successful entertainer we have now is Taylor Swift, or maybe you can argue Beyonce. Whatever, the list has 5 female names on it, and 4 of them are black before we get to the dude. So can we just say we're done with the holding back of the women? Like we used to go, imagine if Taylor Swift was a man, how much she could be, how many times.
I don't think she'd take that pay cut.
Oh, my God. Oh, imagine she only sold out SoFi Stadium 6 times. If she was a dude, she could have done it 9 times. Like, fuck that. She's the most powerful, successful act on the planet right now, proving that we don't really care. If you're good, we'll pay. Yeah. That's what it is. And Travis Kelci will bang you.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick, he even commented on it, on this relationship.
Oh, that's right.
A video of it.
We have Bill Belichick commenting on it.
Big catches in his career. This would be the biggest.
The biggest catch.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah. So okay. So there are a couple questions now. Obviously, we still haven't confirmed that they're dating, but if they do, I mean, just the
he wasn't her Uber driver.
Yeah, that's right. I know. It does seem like it's leading towards that. But what does this do for like the coverage of this romance? Because just the rumors alone were just flooding news feeds. And now that they'll obviously be the hottest couple. And what does this do to football with all the Swifties now entering the mix?
Football just got 35,000 brand new fans.
Yeah.
She's like, sign up to vote and for football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy some merch.
It's all good. It all moves the needle.
She needs a new song.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
she needs a new song. She's gonna find a way. She's probably writing how they end it.
Move over, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, she's already writing how would I dump him, and she's already making this. I think she's like a director.
Ooh.
She's a writer, director. She cast the leading guy who is hot to be the leading guy. She know how it's end.
This is strictly just for inspiration.
Yeah, it's the inspo thing. She writes her movie and she cast a guy and she would just play along. But she's a producer, so she fuck herself to be in the movie and she knows how it ends.
I think she can cover a song that already exists. There is a football-centric song. There's a few, but there's one real specific one from the 60s. Dawson, I'm looking at you. Are you ready? We've never talked about it on the show. And I don't even know who does it. I think it's a one-hit wonder. Backfield in Motion. Does that sound familiar, Dawson?
Doesn't sound familiar, but I'm looking.
Backfield in Motion is a call from a football game.
I've heard it. I've heard the song.
I think it's a flag. Backfield was in motion. Who does this song?
Mel and Tim.
Oh, Mel and Tim. What year?
Those guys.
I don't know. Give me a second.
Like
Here's the song.
67 or something?
They needed a band name.
I bet you guys have heard this song.
69 or 70.
Okay. Hit. It was a hit.
Backfield in motion. Yeah, I'm gonna have to penalize you.
It's a football song.
I remember this song.
They're going through the playbook, man. Taylor could do something with this.
Oh, yeah.
This came out. You know how people say they have such a good voice they could just sing the phone book?
Right.
Someone's like, well, what if we sang a playbook?
We'll do the NFL rules book.
Yeah, that's what Well, Taylor Swift's going to have a positive song about Kelci called Get in His End Zone.
Yeah.
I don't think they all have to be
ends.
negative.
Yeah.
I think they could be good.
Yeah.
Peg me in the end zone. Hands not so tight anymore. Ho, ho, ho.
Full Contact is the name of the album.
The great Tim and Mel.
Actually, Mel gets top billing. It's Mel and Tim.
Not a great name for a band.
No.
Mel.
No, they need
Mel
a band name.
and
They
Tim.
need a band
Tim.
If this
I mean,
song,
it's no Captain and Tennille.
if they had, a name like the Spinners or something, we'd know this song.
Totally.
Yeah.
They did not do themselves any favors.
Gonna have to penalize you. Backfield in motion. Dawson, you know this one?
No,
It's
never
snappy.
heard it.
I bet you heard it. Can't avoid
Was this
it.
ever on like Dr. Demento? This is not a Dr. Demento song.
This is
was
a
a
soul. This is
hit.
real
a
song.
1969 soul hit.
Yeah.
I mean, this song charted. Backfield in motion. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Why don't you cover this bad boy before Taylor gets to it?
I know, I
You
gotta
know
get
she
to
knows
it.
this one.
Oh, Taylor's version's probably coming out soon.
69.
The
Peaked
goal-
at 10, so just cracked the top 10 in 1969.
Is that for the Chiefs to get in the Super Bowl and for Taylor to play the halftime
Oh,
show during
my
that
God.
Super Bowl?
Yes.
Pregnant with Kelsey's kid.
Yep, the announcement.
Showing, just starting to show.
Little
Yeah.
baby bump.
Just the baby bump.
Yeah.
Okay. Backfield in
But-
motion.
So when she was at Arrowhead, two people are wondering how she's getting around. Do you know how she gets around at her concerts?
Chopper.
No, like
No.
within the
Inside the stadium.
Yeah, within the
Like-
stadium.
Like those Jetson tubes.
No.
On a
they should
unicorn?
make those for her.
No. Now, I think Kenny Chesney. I think I saw a 60 Minutes story on Kenny Chesney, but you got to be miniature. It was like playing a theater in the round or something. They'd put him in an amp cart or something,
Right.
like in a equipment cart, and they'd push
like
it.
an amp case or like
yeah,
a blow
like
case.
like in remember in Ocean's 11 when your cousin stuffed himself into that thing to break into the vault, the gymnast,
Yes,
the
more Chinese man.
man. Like,
Yeah.
Kenny Chesney, you can do that with. You put him in the amp case and you pretend like you're rolling it around the
Yeah.
event.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Taylor's a little bit bigger.
She's tall.
Taller. And so the way the Swifties found out she was getting around was in a janitor cart. So so there's the cart right there. So she's in there. Those
Wow.
are fake mops, and they would just
Wow.
roll her around.
I bet they're real mops that haven't been used.
Or her head has a mop on it like
Yes.
a wig.
Do you think she's in there with the mops? No, that thing's probably
No, but they
luxurious
take
in
a
there.
real mop and they cut it off.
No, they had someone
stick it-
design it. They went
Someone-
to a movie studio.
Yeah, they went to
That's a
David
prop.
Copperfield.
We can
Those
go
are
down to
prop
Home
mops.
Depot and for
No,
$9 we can
no.
get a mop, or we can spend $3,500 with industrial magic.
I need a pro to make this.
You make a one-off bespoke prototype mop.
That's the Taylor I know.
If
Yeah,
I
those
had-
are fake mops.
Big dog bed in the bottom. Like a big
Oh yeah,
dog
giant
bed.
dog bed. She's
Yeah,
in
you can
Carolla.
lay
yeah,
there.
you said
Nice.
for comfort, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you'd have in there. But anyway, so
No,
that's how she's
I'm
getting
so
around.
comfortable.
So there are videos going around of somebody pushing around a popcorn cart. And girls are filming going, she's in there. She has to be in there.
All right.
Now you
Look
have to have
at this.
decoys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You would have decoys.
How many janitor carts are at this stadium?
But all the girls are freaking out as
That's
they're
not
pushing these
comfortable. I
around.
don't think she's in here. This is not comfy. The
I
janitor,
don't.
yes.
This is like a standing coffin.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The broom thing, that was her.
No, she's
oh my
not even.
God.
You know how they pop her? Yes. That was her. That's her.
That's not.
Yeah, just being carted around. What would
gotta-
you get carted around? And what do we need to do at the next comedy club? I mean, you
Oh
can't just
man,
walk in like
it's
civilian.
It's
I don't like that they call
party.
that Taylor Swift's Underground Railroad.
Yeah,
that-
it's cultural
I
appropriation.
don't like it. I'm not
Yeah.
a fan.
So obviously it's a necessity because she couldn't get from point A to point. How's she getting to the locker room?
She'll get mobbed.
You know what I mean? She'll get mobbed, so they have to do it. And now everything's in. So it would make a great movie, which is somebody grabs the wrong cart, gets confused, takes it out to the dumpster. Before you know it, the lonely, twice divorced janitor guy's having a relationship with Taylor Swift because he found her.
Because
found
also
in
she
the
hit her
mop
head,
cart.
she lost her memory, so she forgot to Taylor.
That's right.
Would this work in China? Would that movie work in
Oh
China?
yes, yeah.
Oh, good. Is Taylor big in China?
She is huge everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she write her thing. She has so much control over because she write. She control her art.
Yeah, but she is going to have to cover Backfield in Motion.
I think she would really make it really hot.
All right. Sorry. What else we got?
All right. So, speaking of Asia, so in Japan, there's a Japanese pharmaceutical startup that has been working on a new drug to stimulate the growth of new teeth in a world first, aiming to put it on the market at 2030, around there. Mm-hmm. So first, they've been experimenting on mice, and then they tried it with ferrets. They grew new teeth. So we're going to start doing it with humans, probably doing trials in January of next year. And then, because most people have things called tooth buds, which have the potential to become a new tooth. So they're going to try and use those. And for people who are missing teeth, you can grow actual new teeth.
Well, this is another movie where the ferrets escape with the huge fangs and go on a killing spree, and the medications scrambled their brains and turned them into ravenous zombies, and this will keep going.
Yeah, I'm very concerned because Japanese, they lost their army, they're growing teeth. I don't know what starts in the teeth. Maybe something scary, like a.
You don't trust Japan with this technology?
I don't trust them about anything. They are very sneaky.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But they would say the same about your culture.
Yeah, they do. But the Japanese are they are very meticulous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a good way. I mean, I don't like them, but I have to say they are very meticulous.
Wow, that voice got very high.
Yeah.
They're great.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yeah. Well, speaking of teeth, I don't know if you have the pictures, but some super fan baked me a almost full size Love Boat cake.
Adrian.
Adrian that was waiting for me.
She's a dentist?
Backstage. We used.
That's adorable.
Oh, when you see the picture of it, it was 18 inches tall and 22 inches long.
That's a cake? I thought that was a real boat.
It was a giant cake boat that had me and Phil, the dog, in it, eating a sock.
The detail. I think it looks huge.
It's
so
very cute.
Detailed. And we took this cake and brought it out. I think we brought it out after the second show or the first show.
If that image of you on the cake isn't your new promotional picture, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, you're right. There it is. We should use it.
Yeah.
Mental note. So
I didn't realize how much you look like Jeff Goldblum with bigger lips.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, until we see you on a cake, it really
shows.
Yeah.
She's giving you your good hair.
Yes,
the
she
hair
gave me
looks
good
fabulous.
hair. So
very nice job.
We brought it out after the show during the meet and greet, told the staff to come cut it up, and they cut it up and they handed out 50 pieces of cake.
Can I eat a dog?
Everyone would hang
I know.
out.
Can I eat a dog? It look delicious.
Oh, no. See, that's a cultural thing. That's a fake cake dog.
Stop
that's
licking
not a real,
my
that's not a real dog. That's Phil. That's my dog.
Salivating.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was funny. All right, sorry.
That's beautiful.
You can get
Very
back
nice
to the
job.
news.
Very beautiful.
I know, it's wonderful.
All right, so there's this clip going around with your favorite journalist, Adam Jim Acosta. So he's talking to Representative Ralph Norman, Republican out of South Carolina. They were clashing on CNN on Jim's show when they were arguing over the border crisis. And did you guys get that one?
No.
Okay, let me. I'll send it to you guys.
Well, I just want to say this when it comes to sort of journalism in general. If you are a network like CNN or MSNBC or just any network, and you're going to cover a story, we shouldn't know what side you're on.
For sure.
Just like we shouldn't know what side a referee's on or an umpire's on at a baseball game. I don't want to know in advance where you stand. And
let's predict. What do you think is going to happen right now?
Well, the problem with CNN and why they kind of lose credibility is you take something like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the laptop and blah blah blah. when it comes, you go back 3 years and you go, is this laptop real? And then, of course, CNN goes, no, it's not real. It's not real at all. Now, what is real is Russian collusion with Donald Trump and the Steele dossier and everything. So we're all going to put all our journalistic efforts into finding how Russia colluded with Trump. So when it comes to finding out, which you should do, you should be looking into this, Russia is allegedly colluding with Trump to sway the election. So CNN, get on it.
Right.
Get your best on it and see what you can uncover. Then we come around to, did Joe Biden peddle influence to enrich his son around the world? And now CNN goes into, we got to circle the wagons. Why are you circling the wagons? Do the journalism. So everyone is saying to you, hey, there's a lot of allegations, emails, text, and eyewitnesses and whistleblowers and former business partners that are saying this guy was doing business with this guy in Ukraine, China, Russia, and CNN is going, we don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. Well, that's the opposite of journalism, right? Circling the wagons is not journalism. Journalism is, okay, you say that this guy was doing this, we're going to get into it. We'll put our people out and see if we can figure out what's going on. So what they're doing is they're letting me know where they stand, and I don't want to know where they stand when they do this. So you're all in on Russian collusion for 3 years. Now Joe Biden is being accused of something pretty credibly, and you're not looking into it. You're shouting down people who are saying it's happening. It's the opposite of journalism is shouting down people who go, what's going on in your head never happened. That's, and we're not looking ourselves. So now I tend not to believe you, but let's see. I'm guessing the argument was the Republican was saying the border's a shit show, and Jim Acosta was saying either it's not, although they can't really say that anymore, right? Because it's a shit show. They have to say it's on the previous administration.
Kind of close, but here we go.
All right.
It just sounds like you're throwing rhetoric around with no basis in fact.
No, you can. Have you been to the border?
Of course I have.
Have you seen what's going on? The rapes, it's open. I mean, nobody can deny that.
The border is,
and they've got it's a crisis. Where?
I'll ask the question, sir. And the border is not open. That is something that is peddled as a talking point, but it's not true. There are fences, there are walls, there are border patrol agents who work on the border.
The 5+ million that have gotten into this country illegally is not a figment of our imagination. Ask the border patrol agents. Ask anybody down there. They're frustrated.
But I guess I haven't. You have not been able to answer my question as to how you effectively do border enforcement if you're shutting down the government. I guess we're not going to get an answer to that question.
So everybody's been sharing that clip. Mm-hmm. With Jim Acosta, maybe a candidate for stupid or liar.
Yes,
but yeah. So
the border's a shit show.
But props to having him on CNN though. Having Ralph on CNN, that was good.
Yeah.
You know how doctors, their Hippocratic oath is, first do no harm. When you get into journalism, you are supposed to report on the news without fear nor favor.
Right.
And if you can apply that phrase, you should try to apply that phrase to every single news story you got. And is it without fear nor favor? And it's not. That is favor.
Well, anyway, so that's a story. And Jim Acosta, though, seems like a great guy, and I have no opinion other than that. All right. So, also, did you hear that Governor Ron DeSantis and Governor Gavin Newsom have agreed to participate in a televised debate moderated by Sean Hannity in November? So we have that to look forward to as well.
I will say that Gavin Newsom has upped his skills since he was in here 10 years ago with me destroying him. He still doesn't say anything in his debate or answer the questions, but he's skilled enough to circle talk long enough to move on to the next subject.
I think that is like who does that the best. For me personally, like when I think of like presidential debate, like who that's how I think you sort of win those debates.
It's dodgeball.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You don't really say anything. That's why I think it was so great when like guys like Trump and Biden were debating. It's like who could sort of there was no questions being answered.
So they're just trying to be who's more Asian, who wins.
Is that how it works?
Asians don't say things. They just like you talk to Japanese people, you make a deal with them. Hi, and then we have a deal. Hi, and they walk away. You're like, what? They don't trigger you. They don't make you angry. They seem like they are friendly. They walk in a circle. In Chinese, we call it 内方外圆. Like you are a circle outside. Inside, you are a square. So you know what the fuck you want. You just lie to everybody. You are a circle. You make everybody happy. So nobody mad. You get what you want. Then you show them your true color.
I do appreciate the hi, though. I like the affirmation because with Whitey, my parents, anyone who's ever been in my life, I'd go, let me tell you another thing I was thinking about. Boy, this one's good. After 10 minutes, they're just sitting there like a ice sculpture. And I go, you hear me? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. You don't like passion fruit. I see. I want them going, hi. Like everything I said. Like if I was telling that travel story to a Japanese person, I would have had like 1,800 highs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I can't do that. It's cultural appropriation.
Right. No, I'm not blaming you.
I was doing it here.
In your head. You're doing a hi head. Hi. Yeah. No. 5 times like, oh man, you know that feeling where you have to get up at 5 a.m. and hi. Yeah, and then you got to go fucking catch an Uber. And who knows? The Uber drivers are a shit show, right? And then you get to the airport. Oh, there's no booze. There's no booze until 10 a.m. Next thing you know, some madman jumps a security line. He's on a Southwest flight with a fucking Glock stuffed in his underpants, right? Am I right? And I'm saying, hey, let's get on the plane. Get on the plane. How are you? Get on the plane. It's safer than sitting here in the fucking terminal. Am I right? You push back, you land, you're an hour late. It's their fault. They don't let you onto the connecting flight. I got the fucking bitch standing by the counter telling me to talk to the hand. The gate's still connected. We got 2 first-class seats. I can see them from here. Oh, and then I get to the lounge. Oh, my God. I want to talk to the supervisor. She tells me to talk to the hand. She says I'm going to get up drunk in there and start tweeting about my experience, and there's going to be a cavalcade of humanity trying to get free into her lounge. Mike August gets us a one-way to Yuma. Says, I got a donkey to Yuma. We can take that.
It'll be like 2 million highs. They look at you and they just say hi, nonstop, make you feel so important. Then they don't do shit.
Yeah, but at least you get the satisfaction of the high hat.
Yeah.
The high one.
I was thinking every time she said it, I was thinking it.
Yeah.
You're thinking hi.
Yeah, that's the white.
Yeah.
To think
your
high.
next stand-up show is going to be insufferable.
Oh, my God. All right. Shall we wrap up news?
Yeah, we got to get Steve in here.
I think you're talking about Dan, right?
Sorry.
Dan Navias is going to come in. Very interesting story. Very, very successful man, and we'll give you a little inspiration for that. Jonathan Kite's got live dates all over the place, and you can go to jonathankitecomedy.com. And Jiaoying as well. You can go to jiaoyingsummers.com for all the live dates, and we'll take a break. We'll talk to Dan right after this. Well, good news. It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get the most out of your membership. Shop, earn points, and get rewards sent right to your phone or email. If you're not an O Rewards member yet, sign up. It's quick and it's easy. You can do it online or in the store if you like. Just ask one of their professional parts people about joining O Rewards next time you visit, and you can start earning points on your first purchase. Sign up for both email and text and get even more out of your membership. And right now, members receive 2 times, 3 times, up to 8 times O Rewards points on select purchases. Those bonus points can help you get to your next reward even faster. You receive a $5 reward for every 150 O Rewards points, and you can use your reward on your next in-store or online purchase. So don't miss O Rewards Member Appreciation Month now at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store and O'ReillyAuto.com. Well, successful businessman and entrepreneur Dan Navias is here. We like to highlight people that are young and successful and hopefully inspire those who are listening. Very interesting story. We'll get into that. We'll get into what he's up to today. But first, just your history.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Sure.
First and foremost, Adam. A little bit of background. From Brazil, São Paulo, Brazil originally, but grew up in southern Indiana. Starting out as a young kid, I realized there was a lot of different arbitrage opportunities from the cost of things in different countries. So when I was a kid, I started an e-commerce business exporting American goods into Brazil. And by the time I was a college student, that business was doing a couple $1 million a year, and really paved the way to a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities, that we find today.
I feel like a lot of people squander the opportunities that this country affords them. I feel like you're living in a place where you can kind of do anything if you put some effort into it. And I find more and more people just sitting around complaining about the government versus going out and making hay while the sun shines. So do you think your sort of Brazilian sort of refugee sort of background and maybe family background, because now I find that people from other countries are the people that realize you can do the most in this country?
I think that as a kid, you realize, at least for me, like I would see like how poor kids were in Brazil, right? I didn't grow up that way in Indiana. But for me, having that like worldwide perspective, it was helpful. I do think, like, to your point, there are a lot of problems that exist in our world, but at the same time, it's never been easier for you to start up a business. For me, it was just really came down to the fact that I couldn't get my parents to pay for more stuff that I wanted. So, took it upon myself to create that. And, I didn't even really know what the word entrepreneurship was for my young businesses when I was like a kid. I got suspended for selling Playboys, was always like hustling Pokemon cards. And that ultimately led to a real business that, I just mentioned. But, I think that you just gotta, start and then you see what happens,
How'd the Playboy business work?
So that was the opposite, actually. So, there's a lot less rules. So I was like 10 years old, at the time, and there's a lot of these newsstands. And so what I realized is, like, if you had money there, you can buy whatever you want. Whereas here, that does not work that way.
There meaning?
In Brazil. Mm-hmm. And so, my grandma used to live by a newsstand. I would walk over there and I'd buy like 5 Playboys. I'd bring them back home to, Indiana. And then I'd sell page per page to the kids until I eventually got caught and got suspended for selling porn at school.
You'd sell per page?
Per page, yeah. I mean, this is like, pretty early. This is before internet, internet was definitely happening, but not everyone had a computer. I was like, 10 or 11 years old. And for me, it was just like a logical, $20 a page, so it made like $500 really quickly. And then, then got in trouble. And that was a bad day at my household, needless to say.
Are your parents traditional?
They've always enabled me to express my creative ways, but that day it was kind of like my mom was like, they're gonna think it's your dad's and this and that, and that was where the chaos occurred, at my house. So, but needless to say, they've dealt with a lot of different stuff along the way of my entrepreneurial journey, just because you push the limits, and as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to do that. You have to think outside the box, and that ultimately leads to, bigger opportunities that are scalable. That just happened to be the thing I did, when I was in 4th grade.
So you're in college, you're making $2 million a year.
It was in revenue, so it wasn't all net profit, but yeah,
right.
I was making a good 6-figure sum for myself. Yes.
And what do you parlay that into out of college?
Yeah, so right around college, so what the business was doing essentially was exporting electronic goods overseas. I had a warehouse at the time that got robbed. And I actually lost a ton of money that day. And it kind of transitioned into me thinking about starting more digital focused businesses, because I was like, I can't get robbed then,
right.
And so at the time, apps were starting to get really big. And I actually went on the website Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's basically you get anything for $5, and it was pretty small at the time. And I put an ad, saw an ad that was basically someone was willing to make an app for $5. So I just tested it out and ended up meeting this 17-year-old who at the time I thought he was from some third world country, and he was willing to make an app for $85 and was trying to justify it. And it turns out just being this high school student that was also an entrepreneur, wanted to be an entrepreneur, and we ended up making this app that ultimately, led the way to us making like a 7-figure a year business out of. I convinced him to drop out of school, and he ultimately became a co-founder of the company that we currently run today, which this is about 12 years ago. And so we moved into this, company that we run today, but used all the funding from these entrepreneurship opportunities that we did back 12 years ago, just from, a $5 ad into a 9-figure company.
Is your, I've talked to a million entrepreneurs, and there's some people that make their bones because they have a passion for sports memorabilia or something, and then they end up making money off of their passion. And then there's other entrepreneurs who just like business. Like their passion is business.
Yeah.
Like an idea, or I'll invent an idea that's never been had, or I'll take a pre-existing idea and make it flourish.
Yeah.
You seem like an entrepreneur that likes business versus a certain subject.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think ideas and creating opportunities, like vision is what I'm more focused on, as opposed to I'm really in love with this one specific topic. I just enjoy the game of business.
Is it about money? Is it about potential? Or is it about you being right? Because when you make money as an entrepreneur in business, it's sort of validating. You're like, I thought there would be a market for this.
Yep.
And I introduced this thing, and there was, and I was correct.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I used to think it was about the money, and that the things would change. If I make a certain amount of money, then I'll really have hit it. But what I think I find over time, for me over the last 10 years, it's more about the validation of having an impact, and also you want to make money, right? But if that's your only goal, I think you're going to have a very stressful life in entrepreneurship, just because it's so many ups and downs, right? And money is just one element of it. So for me, it's kind of the having an impact, doing something that creates a big opportunity in the market. And making money will come naturally if you do that well, in that sense.
And then also you kind of wonder, how do you infuse that into a young person? Because you obviously had it early, and it was probably nature. Doesn't sound like your parents were telling you to sell Playboys. It sounded like just something you had that I didn't have at all when I was young. I never even thought about it. Part of it is a kind of downtrodden spirituality where you're just look, here's how work works. You work, you do shit you don't want to do. You get a little bit of money. It basically sucks, but you get the weekends, and you can buy a 6-pack and go to the park.
Yeah.
That's all I knew work was. You get paid $10 an hour, and God willing, you'll get to $13 an hour one day.
Yeah.
But the entrepreneurial thing, it comes in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. It seems to almost be within you, like a musical ear.
Yeah, I definitely think I am wired that way as a person. I do think for me personally, the light bulb moment was I did have one regular job when I was around 15, and what spurred all of this. Sure, I had those things I did when I was in elementary school, but I was working actually at a Polo Ralph Lauren store. And I was making about $7 an hour or whatever. And, I crushed myself for 2 weeks. And then I got this paycheck for $150. And that same week, this big tour bus of people from Japan came to this Polo outlet mall. They spent $60,000, and just me and one other person took care of them. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get some sort of commission. I sold all this stuff. And they gave me a $25 Arby's gift card. And I was I remember being so pissed about that, and I was man, I am doing the wrong thing. And then that's when I was why don't I use my employee discount to sell items these items online? And then if these people would have bought that, then I could have made 20% of $50K. Then I can make $10K. And then that created the whole thing. Then I took my dad's credit card at the time, which was our emergency credit card, bought 4 of those things, started selling things on eBay, made $1,000, kept the receipt to make sure I didn't screw my dad at the time. And then that started the e-commerce business. And so it was just kind of finding those opportunities, and you see something work, and then you're wow, this is amazing. And then, then it's just energy, from there.
Where do you think we're heading, sort of, I don't know, as a nation, maybe globally? Are we heading toward a place where, people stay home and work? Are we heading to a place where we have, AI pushing a lot of people out of their businesses. Like, what do you think the future holds?
Look, I think that the AI is here to enhance the things that we do today. It will take away a lot of jobs that are traditionally, like people like, maybe language transcription or things of that nature. But I think that that's going to actually open up the door for more entrepreneurship and other types of like you owning your own business. Like, and owning your own business can mean a bunch of things. Like, the autonomous cars may take over this as well, but like, you could drive Uber and now you're owning your own business, like in some capacity, and you can expand that into a variety of other things. But I do think that eventually we will either go to a point where there will be some sort of like minimum income that people are getting of some sort. But I do think that there will be efficiencies that we get from things like AI, so I'm ultimately a proponent of it. It can be a disaster in some capacities, which is obviously why we see all this regulation and kind of people saying, hey, like we should make sure that we're doing things in the right way here.
So your latest venture is mobile software, Mode Mobile. Mm-hmm. And I want to know what kind of inspired you to go down this road.
Yeah, so thesis behind the business is we made the first ever smartphone that pays you as you use it. So it's called an Earn phone. And essentially, it was kind of us bringing together all the businesses that my co-founder and I kind of ran over the last 10 years. And we ultimately came up with this idea because we saw, hey, people are spending like 40 plus hours a week, which is essentially a work week, right? Similar to what you're saying.
Sure. Well, not anymore. Not for the kids, but it used to be. Yeah.
Yes. And they're on their phone. And, it is a tremendous amount of time. And all these companies that are currently making money on you today are $1 trillion companies, right? Or several $100 billion companies. And so basically the whole thesis behind the business is we take the things that you're doing on the phone, which that time is only going up, and we create you a reward for that period of time, right? And so essentially, thus far, we've facilitated about $150 million in earnings and savings back to consumers through this idea behind Earn Phone.
Because they're earning off information, personal information, shopping information, and likes and things like that. It's a gold mine of the sort of digital world we're living in now. I mean, it's something. All right, let's see if I can phrase this correctly. But there was a time when gasoline had no value because we didn't have internal combustion engines, you know. So we were like making kerosene, and gasoline was a byproduct, and they didn't need it. And nobody could have anticipated gasoline being a multi-trillion-dollar business in the not too distant future. But now everything's invisible, everything's information, everything's digital. But the business of mining your information has incredible upside, and it is kind of the new world order now, right?
Essentially, I mean, if the saying goes, like, if the product's free, you're the product, right? And fundamentally, your data and your attention is your most valuable asset. The average like human lifespan today is like 27,000 days, and your time is very, very valuable. And these companies are monetizing your time and your attention when you're on these products. And so what we're essentially doing is just kind of like, okay, that's going to happen anyways. If you opt in, you can get paid, and then you make thousands of dollars a year. And then, over the course of a lifetime of using that phone, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it really makes a difference for the 6+ billion people that have a smartphone and utilizing it today.
And you believe this will be the wave of the future? And I'll let you ponder for a second, but it reminds me for some reason, although it's the analog version of it, but college football players never got paid.
Yep.
And they would sell their jerseys and the games themselves, TV revenues, stadium tickets, concessions, college, jerseys and likeness and everything else. And these guys would be multi-million-dollar earners for the college.
Yes. And
be living in a dorm with 3 roommates. And then at some point, some booster would give them a watch, and then they'd get sanctioned by the NAACP. Or NAA? No, NCAA. There's too many LGBT.
Yeah. Yes.
I got too many letters in my head. But the point is now people are sort of going, well, look, if you're going to earn all this money for somebody else, then why aren't you in for a taste?
Yes.
And now that's sort of what they're doing with college programs. And kind of what you're saying is a version of that for the cell phone users. If you're going to generate all this income, why aren't you kissed in?
I think that this is happening in all proponents of our lives, right? At the end of the day, these companies they're profiting off your back, right? And whether it's in football, whether it's your usage on the internet, I mean that's why it's like The Social Dilemma, on Netflix, that show that came out that was huge. It's like a lot of these people, they see that this is happening, and so our whole thesis is like, okay, well if you're getting that and you're making them billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in market cap, then you should get a portion of that too. And for a lot of people, that money makes a big difference. Especially now with where 56% of Americans today don't have $1,000 in their bank account, and 6.2 billion people around the world make less than $12,000 a year. So, that money makes a big difference in that sense.
Well, it's also, I think the New World Order, as I've described many times on the show, is not really such a thing as just having a job anymore. It's just going to be a bunch of hoses going into the same trough. Mm-hmm. You may not make your bones with the money you're providing from the service, but you'll get an extra X amount a year, and you can add that to the extra X amount a year you're doing in 5 other arenas, and that'll all add up to something. Mm-hmm. But what, if I was a proponent of this, what would I be saying? What would I be saying? Yeah, but you'll lose what?
Yeah, I mean, everything's opt-in. So fundamentally, we don't make money on the device. This Earn phone, it's a 128 gig phone, 6.5-inch screen. The new iPhone costs $1,600, right? This phone costs $89, right? It is not 1/20th of the device, but it's not an iPhone either, right? So the whole thesis is look, you could use a phone, you can get free talk and text, you can, you don't have to make any money off of it. You don't have to use any of the software. You just get a good device, super cheap, and you save money. Or you can opt into some of these things, and the more you put into it, the more you earn. We have people that earn thousands of dollars a year, right? We have people that earn tens of thousands of dollars a year. So it really just depends what you put into it. And at the end of the day, there's a large percentage of people that are, buying into that idea of hey, these companies are making a ton of money off my back. So, why do I have to keep having this cost of $50 extra a month? And why don't I make $50 extra a month or $100 extra a month? And so that's the whole thesis behind it,
And I mean, there's precedent for it. I mean, YouTube makes money, and then people make money off of YouTube and other platforms as well. And I guess this is sort of where we're going. I don't know how this pitch would have been made 10 years ago. I'm not sure. Maybe people weren't sophisticated enough or didn't think about ancillary income or something like that.
Well, I think the fundamental is technology. There's 2 components. One, there's Moore's law, right, which is the thesis that it's the same reason this phone now costs $50, but eventually this phone will cost even less, right? And then technology just gets better. So that's one component. But 2, there's new regulations that have come out that have made it that you're spending all your time on your phone, in that sense. And so, it's just kind of the right time and the right place. And, one component that you just mentioned on YouTube is one thing that we do that's also different is we allow our user base, the people that are coming in, the paradigm today is you're a user, right? That's what people call it, right? You're a user. And our whole thesis is we turn them into earners, right? Because we allow people to earn. And then now we're taking earners and then turning them to owners because we have a whole component where, we allow people to claim shares in our company as they're owning. And so the whole thesis behind our company is eventually when we ideally one day we'd like to take this company public, that you have millions of people that own shares in this business. So really our way of thinking about the company is very different than the traditional way of thinking where it's hey, this is a community that we're really building of millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of owners in this business. And that's a whole thesis behind, kind of our model today.
And who would be unhappy that you were doing this?
Who would be unhappy that we'd be doing this? I mean, you're taking away market share from, certain companies, I would suppose, the lower cost devices. I wouldn't say a company like Apple is my competitor because the people that are buying an iPhone, they're going to continue buying that iPhone. We really play in the sub $100, $150 device, which is, 6 billion people, more worldwide. And, we facilitate and help a lot of these platforms. The Facebooks and the Googles aren't going to be unhappy about necessarily what we're doing because we ultimately are driving more engagement into their platform. All we're simply doing is we're taking a percentage of what we earn and we're giving it back to the consumer for facilitating that connection between these services, whether it's like a game like Candy Crush, they'll pay us, we pay you a percentage of what they're paying us for you to engage with that product. Today, they're just paying that money to Facebook today. So maybe Facebook and some of these companies would get upset if we're taking their advertising dollars. Is that their model? I mean, whose model is this model? Is it Facebook would be number one? It's on the Facebook is running this model, but I mean, if you think about any ad network, right? What's happening essentially is like when a Robinhood, like a trading platform or a game, once again in front of you, what they're doing is they're going to put dollars into a Facebook or a Google, and it's like, hey, show this to Adam, and then Adam, you click on that, and then they pay Facebook. Our whole model is, hey, like, let's work with these games, these banks, these music platforms, and basically anything you're going to do on your phone. And they pay us, and then we pay you a percentage of what they pay us. And basically, we're just sharing the revenue with you. And so we're paying you per minute you play Candy Crush. We're paying you per minute that you stream music. We're paying you. So, users right now could get paid to listen to the Adam Carolla show, and stream in that sense. And what we're essentially doing is taking the audio advertising that may be running like in the middle of that kind of those segments and giving a rev share back to those customers in that sense. We're not taking anything away from your show in particular. You still have your advertising and however you're monetizing in that sense. Yeah, I think where we're at is back to the old adage with the Indians eating all of the buffalo, or like sort of utilizing all of the buffalo, or sort of like back to the one I said when they're making kerosene and they're dumping out the gasoline as like a byproduct. It's really kind of an efficiency thing, and really about, because I guess to me, and maybe most people ought to think this way. Life has so many devices and modalities and ways to, like, I don't know why, but I'll just tell you this, and I'll sound a million years old. But I'm driving in the Uber from Kentucky to the Kentucky airport at like 5:45 in the morning the other day with Mike August, my guy I travel with, and he says, God damn, I missed another wake-up call. You call these hotels, you tell me we want a 5 a.m. wake-up call, and as I'm getting dressed, somehow he woke up. I'm walking out the door, I'm hearing the phone ring. Yeah. I go, Mike, they screw up every single time. You tell me this every single time. And he goes, I know. They can't get their shit together. I go, Mike, your phone has an alarm on it. Use the alarm on your phone. Even I, who's the least technology-driven Cro-Magnon knuckle dragger in the world, I've figured out that my phone has an alarm on it, and I set it to get up at 5:15 in the morning in these instances because I no longer trust the wake-up call. But the point is my phone can do 2 million things, and I'm capable of using 4 to 5 things on this phone. Thankfully, one of them is the wake-up call. Yes. Mike can't even use that. So it's not really about does it exist, it's are you utilizing it? Right. Like that's the new world order is everything exists. Now, can you utilize it? Yes. Can you harness it? Can you make it work for you? Mm-hmm. And this is just one more modality for harnessing something and utilizing something and benefiting from something that you've created that shall exist. Yeah, and also that our goal is to do things that you're already doing, right? It's like we're not trying to reinvent new things for you to do. I mean, that's like, that could happen. But the idea is like you're using your phone for music streaming. You're using your phone to make calls. You're using your call to like to charge your phone. Like we pay you to charge your phone. You know what I mean? Like these things you're going to do. Like you have to do it. And so our whole thesis is like, how can we take those things and turn that into opportunities for you? I'll give people somewhere to go. You can visit .modemobile.com and learn again. It's now one trough with 10 hoses going into it. This could be just one more hose going into that trough. Yeah, it's invest.modemobile.com right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Invest.modemobile.com. Say it one more time. Yeah, invest.modemobile.com. Right now we are, as mentioned to you, we're doing like that crowdfunding component where people can become shareholders, whether they use the device or they can invest in the company. We've taken a very unique approach here. Much like I understand that you had done some crowdfunding in the past for, an IP troll that was ultimately. Yeah, I think it was a good example of like how things that are more modern inventions
such as crowdfunding, can be used for semi-righteous causes. It doesn't have to all be pay for my next children's book.
Exactly.
It can be, and it was also, there was just an article about it a few weeks ago. I read it, and I was too modest to bring it up on the air, but it was like 10 years since the patent trolls went after us. And the way the patent trolls work is they go, look, would you like to just write us a check for $700,000, or would you like to be drained dry of your finances and your soul as this thing goes through a long, costly legal battle?
Right.
So people are generally business people, and they go, look, it's not a matter of whether they're right or whether they're wrong.
Right.
The question is do you want to cut them a check for $700K or $2.3 million when you're done with the legal battle?
Yeah.
And so most business people go, well, I'll just cut them the check.
Right.
But the threat of draining you financially in a prolonged, protracted legal adventure goes out the window when the crowd pays your legal fees.
Right.
So not only did it save us being run dry from the legal fees, but the message was sent to them that this barrel that you bend everyone over, there's no barrel in this case because the crowd is picking up the tab.
And I think that like the reason that we chose crowdfunding again is like these people that are backing our company, they believe in what we believe. In your case, like they believe what you believe. Hey, this is wrong. Like we don't support this. And then, that you were ultimately able to change like a whole, an entire person's business, and his entire business was to drain people like in this industry, in the podcast industry. And that's essentially like what I see as the power of crowdfunding. And that's why we as a business chose that with this really unique model. And we think that we'll be the first private company to have over 1 million shareholders in our business because we have, the massive amounts of people that believe in what we believe. And that's the path that we chose.
Well, one more plug. Invest.modemobile.com is where you can go to be a part of it from an investment standpoint or just profit off it when you sign up for it. Anything else, Dan, we can tell people about you or where to find you or any of that good stuff?
No, that covers it. That is the main place. I'll be able to find info on the company.
Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Thanks for having me, Adam. Appreciate it.
Till next time, Adam Crawford, Dan Navias, and Jonathan Kite, Jiaoying Summers, and me. I'll be in Irvine. I'll be in San Francisco. I'll be in Spokane, Washington. You go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. And until next time, this is Adam Carolla saying mahalo.